Hello guys. So today we'll be seeing the SQL case studies. So I took three problems to solve using basic joins. Okay, so I took these case studies from HackerRank, and we'll be seeing these case study on solve using the MySQL database. Okay, so we'll start for this first case. Like, given the city and country table, we need to query the sum of population of all the cities where the continent is Asia. So from the first line, we understand that there's a two table. Okay, so one is a city table and its description is given here, and is on the country table and its definition, what we say, so it's given here. Okay, so mm, they have provided two tables. Okay, so we need to query to get the sum of population of all the cities. So we need to get the sum of population of all the cities. Okay, so we have a city table and we have a country, like city name and its population. Okay, but the fact is, so we have another table called country, so from where we need to filter only the continent Asia. So there may be the multiple continents. So we need to combine these two tables. Okay, first we need to combine the two table. So while, like, the basic joins is a concept where it's used to combine these two table. Okay, so how we going to join these two table? Okay, so there will be a key, okay, which is common to these two table. So what they provided is the hint, like city dot country code and country dot code are matching key columns, which means from the city table there is a column called country code, and from the uh, country table, okay, so there is a column called code. So the code from country table and country code from city table are the same data. Okay, so this is the key. Okay, so this key needs to be will needs to be used to join these two table. So after joining the table, we can get the desired results. Okay, so let's play on this. So first I'll write the select statement. Okay, select. Um, so what we need to select? So from country, like from city and country table, we need to select the sum of populations. So we have population from city table. So for understanding and the clean coding, like I'll use capital letter, okay, for the inbuilt function, and the small letters for the uh, columns and table name. Okay, so I'm selecting the population. Okay, selecting the population from city. Okay, so I'm selecting the population column from the city table, but we need to join the city table with country, as I said before. So I will be joining this city table with country, with country. Okay, so yeah, in default, if we provide join, it is considered as inner join. So I specifically mention as inner join for understanding to the viewers. So this is the inner joining of city table with the country table. So inner joining with what? So I need to highlight. Okay, as I said, I'll write this in small lower cases for better understanding and clean coding. So fine. So my intention is to join this city table with country. How it's going to join? On on country code and the code. Okay, so on city table dot country code, which means we requesting the system to consider the country code information from the city table. So that's what this dot means here. Okay. So um, it's it will took the key data from country code column from city table. Okay. And that needs to match with country dot code. That's need to match with the code column from country table. Okay. So by this statement, okay, by this statement, we will get the uh, like we will be joining these two table city and column, but one modification need to do it. Like generally, if we have only one table, we can mention the column of that particular table inside the select statement as it is. But since we joining two tables, so it like the SQL will bring error by mentioning from which table should I take the population column. So we need to mention again dot. Okay, so I'll say from city table you get the population column. Okay, so that's it. So this will bring the population list of population from the city table after joining with country table on the key city like country code and city code. Now we have the condition to query the sum of the population. So we just don't need the population number. So if I run this code, okay, so it will get the list of population, but it doesn't satisfy my requirement. So I need a sum of this population. So I'll add the aggregate function sum inside this let statement and run this code. So hopefully it brought the overall sum of population of all the city and all the continent. Okay. But again, so we have a condition where the continent is to be Asia. So we need to open it and provide the where statement where the continent. Again, okay, we need to provide with a dot since the system needs to understand from which column it needs to take this particular information. So from the country table, like take the continent column, which is equals to Asia. So I'll closing it and run. Okay, so that's the required output. So the value here is the sum of the population of cities from the like overall cities from the continent Asia. So that's it. Okay. So I'll move to the next case. So in this case, given the city and the country table, the query, the name of all the cities where the continent is Africa. So in previous case, okay, in previous case, in previous case, like what we have done is we joined city and country table with the key and provided the condition to sort the continent as Asia. Here we need to sort the continent as Africa. So we need to filter only the Africa as a continent, but we need different output. Query the name of all the cities. So instead of aggregating it, okay, instead of aggregating it, we need to get the details of all the city names. Okay, so from the city table, I need the names. So that's why I changing. So get the name from the city table, but the continent should be only Africa. So I'll run the query. So that's it. Okay, so we in from the data what we have provided, these 8 cities are from the continent Africa. Okay, so we'll move to the next uh, case where the given the city and country table query the name of all the continents and their respective average city population. So it is the same case. Okay, it is the same case with need of different output. So what we need to change here? Okay, so instead of city name, I need the continent's name. Okay, so the continent name is available under this country table. Okay, so even here it is mentioned as country.continent. You get the name of the continents. So sorry, I'll replace this with country.continent. That's it. So here we will get the country, like continent name, okay, from the country table. Okay, now we have another question to get the respective average city population. So for each continent, we need to get the average population. So average AVG. So it's a short form for aggregate function average from city dot population. Okay, so for each continent, we will get the average population. So when I run this code, it should bring the answer. So it's providing only for Africa. Okay, so since we need to remove this where condition here and close test statement. So yeah, so what is the error we getting in aggregated query without group by? So which means we have done a aggregation function. Okay, which means let's say we have different continent, Asia, Africa, Europe. So for each continent, we need the average population. That's why we need to consolidate, group this continent, and while grouping the continent, it will bring the average population. So that's why there is a function called group by. Okay, so group by country dot country dot. I'll just mention it as country dot continent. Okay, so I'm closing it. Let us run. Fine. So as I said, each continent it brings the average value of population. But what is the we have the output, but what is the wrong? But it is mentioned as wrong answer, which means we not provided the output as expected in the case. What is that? So we need to provide the respective average city population rounded down to the nearest integer. So we need to round it down to the nearest integer. For rounding it up to the nearest integer, either it is highest or lowest. From the decimal point, we need to add another function called floor. Okay, so there are different function: floor, round, sum, average. Okay, so we need to look for that. But yeah, for some, like for rounded down to the nearest integer, we need to use the floor function for the average city. So I'll run it. Yeah, so that's it. So we got the list of continent with their average population. So that's all for today's video. So thank you guys. Have a nice day.